Hey guys, it's Amber with Sinless Sweets, and welcome back to the Sinless Sweets Kitchen, where this week we are making a vegan vanilla pound cake. So far on the show, we have not done any vegan options. I've kind of talked a little bit about it, but this is the first time we're actually going to be making a vegan dessert. So for all my vegan followers out there, this one's for you guys. Let's get started. The first thing we are going to need is going to be one bowl and just a handful of ingredients, just like any of our other recipes that we do here at the bakery, just to make it easier for you guys at home. Everything is going to be in one bowl. Now, typically with some of our recipes, you can kind of throw everything into one bowl and it doesn't matter about dry ingredients or wet ingredients, but this particular recipe, you're going to want to make sure you have all of your wet ingredients first. So the first thing we are going to start with is 1 1/3 cup of melted vegan butter. Now, any vegan butter is fine. This one is made with olive oil, but you can get ones that are made with I think they have like a couple different ones. You can use Earth Balance. They make some with almond oil, all different kinds of ones. But this one is vegan butter, 1 1/3 cup. Please make sure that it's melted. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit hard to get that consistency of a pound cake. And then the next thing we are going to do is we are going to make our eggs. Now, when I say that, we use an egg replacer here at the bakery. But the great thing about vegan recipes is you really can use all different kinds of options. Today, we are going to be using an egg replacer, but you can use applesauce, you can use pumpkin, sweet potato, bananas, and actually would kind of give it more of like a fun flavor if you're doing just a basic vanilla pound cake. But today, just for this purpose, we are going to be using an egg replacer. So this particular egg replacer is 1 scoop of egg replacer to every 2 tablespoons of water. Now I already have my water measured out, so I'm just adding in the 4 tablespoons. So that's 1 tablespoon per egg. Now, whenever you are using an egg replacer, with some recipes, you want to make sure that that egg replacer sits. With this egg replacer, you don't have to. This one you can just mix together, and then it's just going to be kind of more of a I say like a wetter consistency, you could say. But you just want to make sure there's no clumps in it. You get that nice and mixed. And then, like I said before, there's so many different options you can use, applesauce, banana. Now, do keep in mind that some of those other ones, they may change the texture of like a classic vanilla pound cake. So just keep that in mind whenever you're doing it at home. But today, we are using egg replacer. So that is 4 eggs, which is 4 tablespoons. So we're gonna get that in, and all we're gonna do is we are just gonna mix that with our butter, with our melted butter. And like I said before, this recipe in particular, you wanna make sure that all of your wet ingredients are mixed first. Then we are gonna add in, let's see, I think it's 1/3 cup of almond milk. Now, like I've said before, you can switch out, you can use oat milk, you can use coconut milk. You really can do it however you want to at home, but for today, we are using an almond milk. That's typically what we use here at the bakery. So I have all of my wet ingredients. Now I'm gonna add in my sugar. So for the sugar, we are going to be doing 1 cup. So this is 1 cup already measured out of sugar. So I will go ahead and mix that in. So now we have our butter, our milk, our sugar, and then of course we're making a vanilla pound cake. So we are gonna add in 1 tablespoon of vanilla. So we are just gonna pour that in. Now, if you've been following me for a while now, sometimes I measure out my vanilla, sometimes I don't. Today we're gonna measure it out because we are making specifically a vanilla pound cake. So that's 1 tablespoon of vanilla. And then our secret ingredient today is going to be the cornstarch. So this is 1 tablespoon of cornstarch that you can use. You can also use an arrowroot powder if you don't have any cornstarch at home. And you can find arrowroot powder at any of your local grocery stores. So we're gonna mix that in. And then it's gonna be 1, to help the leavening and help it rise a little bit, we are going to do 1 teaspoon of baking powder. So go ahead and put that in. Now you'll notice that we have mixed all of the other ingredients except for our flour. We wanna make sure these are nice and mixed, make sure there's no clumps. And then that way, whenever we fold in our flour, it makes it a little bit easier to be able to mix together to put in that pan. Now, what I will say is, I always forget to mention this, 350 degrees at home. Make sure you preheat that oven to 350 degrees. Now with this vegan pound cake, and just pound cakes in general, they tend to take a little bit longer. So this one baked anywhere between, I'd say 40 to 45 minutes that we're gonna put this one in the oven for. but again, it just kind of depends on your oven at home, but usually anywhere between 35 to 45 minutes. As long as you stick a knife in and it comes out clean, you know you're good to go. So now we've got our wet ingredients nice and mixed. Now we're gonna add in 2 cups of flour. Now this is a gluten-free flour that we're using today because we wanna keep it gluten-free, but you can also use regular flour. Now I would not recommend using an almond flour or a coconut flour for this because of the consistency of a pound cake. We do make almond flour based pound cakes here at the bakery, but it's a little bit different ingredients. And today we're making a vegan pound cake. So we're just gonna mix that and we're gonna get that nice and mixed. Now it's okay if it's a little bit clumpy. You wanna try to get the majority of the clumps out. If you have a mixer at home, you could use a hand mixer. If you have a stand mixer, like a KitchenAid, you can also use that as well. But if you just have a bowl and a whisk, that works fine too. So we'll go ahead and mix that all together. And then we're gonna just set that off to the side and we're gonna get our pan. Now this is a 9.5-inch loaf pan. I don't have any Pam, but they're, let me see. We should be able to get it out without the pan. If you have Pam at home, make sure that you use that. But if you don't, you can also line it with parchment paper. But today we are just gonna throw it on in and hope, oh, look at there, I found some Pam. So we're gonna go ahead and spray it. You do wanna spray the pan just to make sure. So we'll get that sprayed. And like I said, you can measure out some parchment paper and do it that way as well. But today we're just gonna use some Pam. And then what we're gonna do is we are just gonna pour this in. Now at this point, your oven should be preheated and we should be ready to go. Now, if you have like a spatula at home, you can kind of make it a little bit more even, but I just have like this spreader right here, so this works perfectly fine. So there you go. That is all the ingredients that you need. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go throw this in the oven on 350 degrees for about 30 to 45 minutes, and I'll be right back to show you the finished product and show you the glaze that we're gonna make. Hey guys, welcome back to the Sinless Sweets kitchen. So it has been 45 minutes in the oven on 350 degrees. Now, of course, I've let this sit for a few minutes before I touch it to show you guys, but so this is the moment of truth. This always makes me a little bit nervous at the bakery, and I'm sure it probably makes you guys nervous at home because you spend so much time on this that you don't want it to get messed up at the last minute. So I decided to try something different and make things a little bit prettier for you guys today. So I decided to use a cake pan. So, okay, are y'all ready? I'm holding my breath. Okay, here we go. I heard that. Let's see. Perfect. All right, it worked. So sometimes it works. So good thing I used that Pam earlier, because otherwise it probably would have not come out of this pan. So lesson learned. Use your Pam or parchment paper. Otherwise, you could have a mess. So now that we have made this, I wanted to tell you guys about a glaze. Now, you could, of course, enjoy the pound cake as it is, but growing up, my grandmother always used to put glazes on pound cake, and it just makes for a little bit extra sweetness, I would say. This is 1 cup of our Swerve confectioner. Now, you want to make sure whenever you are using a glaze that you use a confectioner and not a granular. So 1 cup of confectioner with just a couple tablespoons. This was 4 tablespoons of almond milk. But like I said before, you could use a coconut milk and oat milk. And then what I like to do is I just take it like this, and then I just kind of do this. Now, if you have a piping bag at home, you can use a piping bag, but I really like the way that this looks. Or if you wanted to just dump the entire thing on, you could do that too. It just kind of depends on how much glaze that you want. I'm not a huge glaze person. I like a little bit. So we're just gonna do some dribble today. Some dribble, I'm not even sure if that's like the right word for that. We're doing a little bit of a splash, you could say. So we're gonna do that just like that. So that's perfect. That's like the exact amount that I would want. And then I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like. Are you ready? So let's go ahead and cut into this vegan vanilla pound cake. And look at this delicious goodness. Oh yeah, guys, that is absolutely perfection. So just remember, whenever you're at home, just like the substitutes I talked about, if you have somebody that you're baking for that has a couple allergies, you can use some substitutes. But I hope you guys enjoyed making this vanilla vegan pound cake as much as I had showing you guys. Also remember, if you're local and in the Augusta area, that we are located at 4336 Washington Road in Evans, Georgia. Or if you don't live in the area but want Sinless Sweets shipped to your door within 2 to 3 days, check out our website at sinless-sweet.com under the shipping menu. Also, to stay up to date on all things Sinless Sweets, remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, guys, have a great day.